listening to the University of the Arts on Apple's iTunes U.
Hi, this is Justin Binek, head of Vocal Jazz Studies at the University of the Arts. One question that I'm often asked by young jazz singers is, how exactly do you start improvising on a vocal jazz tune? How do you start singing a scat solo? Because a lot of times, young jazz singers are simply told, well, make something up by their teachers. What I want to do today is just show you a couple of little tools that you can use to create an effective scat solo very easily. Primarily using the melody of the tune itself. Let's take a common tune that a lot of singers of all levels do, Bye Bye Blackbird. I pack up all my care and woe, here I go, singing low, bye bye Blackbird. So we've sung through the melody. Well, now it's time for improvisational solos. Well, one of the best things that you can use as a basis for an improvisational solo is to just simply use the melody itself. So let's start this whole process of creating a scat solo by just using the melody, only instead of actually singing the words, we're going to replace them with scat syllables. And in the tradition of Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Mel Torme, let's use B and D consonants and round, relaxed vowels, because that'll make it really easy to relax and sound extremely authentic. Now already what I've started to do is just to start to make some little melodic alterations to the solo so that it turns into kind of a theme and variation on the melody rather than just the melody itself. So let's take this a little further. There what I'm doing is I'm just adding a few extra notes here and there and just kind of extending the idea, tweaking it a little bit. And remember, if you start to feel like you're stretching yourself a little too thin, you can always come back to the melody. But let's extend this a little bit further. So now let's use some very, very small bits of music theory into this. One thing that we're always taught as musicians from the first point that we start to practice is to really become familiar with our intervals. So let's use thirds. They work extremely well, and on a tune like Bye Bye Blackbird, we can just take the melody and actually put some thirds with it, so that instead of going we can go So now we'll combine this idea of thirds with the idea of just kind of stretching the melody, and what we're doing is we're just kind of wandering a little bit further and further away from the melody while still keeping the melody the basis of our scat solo. Back to the melody. In the second half of this lesson, I'll give you a few more tools that you can use to just start building your scat solo even further and just kind of to create some ideas so that you're not completely left out in the cold when someone says to you, and go ahead, improvise, now.
Thanks for listening to the University of the Arts on iTunes U. The University of the Arts is the nation's first and only university dedicated to the visual, performing, and communication arts. Its 2,300 students are enrolled in undergraduate and graduate programs on its campus in the heart of Philadelphia's Avenue of the Arts. The institution's roots as a leader in educating creative individuals date back to 1868. For more information, visit www.uarts.edu or call 1-800-616-ARTS.